This is the Novel Alliance Book Club, and we're at my channel today. Welcome friends from all the 2 other channels. I'm here with Kate's Novel Idea.
Hello.
And Josh, Book Lover Dragon. He was Book Lover, now he's Book Dragon. That's why we keep up with this.
Okay, I just sprouted wings and turned into a dragon.
What happens? You take an elixir, you turn into a dragon.
Shh, Katie, shush. They didn't turn into dragons. Alright, and this month we read The Apothecary.
I have my copy.
Yay.
It's not my copy, it's the library's copy.
Oh. Josh, do you have a copy?
No.
Well, I don't have a copy either, so.
I'm just...
Yay!
Catherine's the only one who came prepared, as per the usual.
Can I sit here for just a moment?
Yeah, as long as you don't talk.
I don't prepare thoughts or anything, I just do whatever.
Alright, so, the first question is standard. Did you like the book?
Josh, go!
Go, Josh.
Yes, I did!
Good.
Hey!
Okay, Katie, you.
I did too. I kind of went back and forth between a high 3 stars and kind of a low 4 stars. And I did end up giving it 4 stars just because, I don't know, I felt really excited about it when I finished it. Like, after the ending, I was just like, wow, that was amazing, so I gave it 4 stars.
Oh.
But the rest about it, like, I went back and forth. That's all I'm saying. But I liked it.
Okay, good. I liked it too, obviously. I forgot how much I liked it, actually. Like, the first time I read it, I remember being really happy at the end, but I wasn't able to put all the pieces together, but now that I've read it again, I'm like, yes, I remember this, and it was good, so, yeah. Okay, good. Let's see. I don't know what the first question should be. I have a lot of them, but, yeah, we'll just start with something easy. No, this is actually not easy at all. What was your favorite character? Josh.
I can't choose. Why are you putting me on the spot?
Because you're Josh. That's what happens.
I'm still here, don't worry.
Alright.
Favorite character, Josh?
I don't know.
Just pick them out of a hat then.
Okay. I don't know. I really liked Janie. Sure.
Alright, great. Catherine, you go.
I do like Jamie. I think I'm probably torn between Pip and Count Villy as my favorites. But I really liked all of them. But I think it might be Count Villy. Something about... I'm not sure I'm saying his name right. It's Hungarian. But something about him just really appealed to me. He's just adorable and fabulous.
I'm really glad that that's a thing. I always figured you'd go for like the weird. You always go for the weird secondary characters that really don't have that much purpose there, but you know, you just like the fact that he is a cane. So.
Shall we see how Google says Count Villy?
Yes.
Please.
Count Villy.
Oh well.
Villy?
Villy.
Villy.
Viller.
I think it's between Villy and Villy in my head.
Count Villy.
Google says Villy.
The first time I read it, I was completely head over heels in love with Pip. So.
Understandable.
That was a thing. I loved him so much. It's just the Cockney accent and the fact that he was small and crazy. I loved him so much. And of course, Benjamin is my favorite person. He's lovely. And Janie was good. Oh, and then the Chinese one. Yes, Jin Lo.
Jin
Lo.
He's fabulous.
Yes, absolutely fabulous.
I think Benjamin is the only character that I had issues with. Like, I love Benjamin, but sometimes I wanted to smack him. I went kind of back and forth.
He was definitely a smackable person.
Like, and I think most of it just stemmed from him being a 14-year-old boy. Like, it wasn't like, I didn't dislike his character, I just sometimes found him annoying. But Pip is perfection, and I ship Pip and Sarah so hard, it's ridiculous.
Yes, I knew you would.
Fabulous.
I just, like, you never see it coming, but it's the most perfect relationship ever.
It just
Have you read the sequels, Quinny?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, I need the sequel. Like,
I know. That's what we need to. Josh, you may end up having to change your book. But
that's the sequel to Iron Trial, and you'll do the sequel to this one, and we'll just keep going through series.
yeah, exactly. Why not? It cuts down on the brain power needed to run this book club.
It's true. Choosing books, much easier.
Yes. All right. Let's see now.
The third one comes out this November.
Everything comes out in November.
The third what, Josh?
The third Apothecary book.
Oh, I didn't know there was stuff coming out.
You're the one who told me that, Catherine. I'm pretty sure.
Did I?
Yes. When we were first discussing doing this book for the book club, I think you looked it up and you're like, oh, then there's a third one.
I'm sure I noticed, but like didn't retain.
Okay, this one's interesting. Consider Janie's initial impression of Mr. Danby. How does the opinion of him change throughout the course of the novel? Because I just really like Mr. Danby, so I just wanted to discuss him.
I loved his development. Sometimes I talk to myself while I read, and I actually have a moment of like, I loved his progression from the dashing Latin teacher to the kind of dashing villain, you know, where he was still fabulous in his evilness, and then you realize that he's kind of a loser, and like, I just really liked that progression, because seeing him in Russia, where everybody's like, you're an idiot, go away, was fabulous after our initial impression of him.
Yeah, I agree, and also the fact when he started talking about the Russian novels and all of this, I love all this, I was like, this is the best guy ever. It's the most random thing. He's like, because of Anna Karenina, I just wanted to blow up everything. But it's just, he's really fabulous. I don't think I got that the first time, and now that I've read it again, I was like, yes.
He is definitely one that I'd like to know more about his actual motivations, more about his time in the POW camp and why he went this direction. Like, I feel like there's so much there that we don't get to see.
Well, there's 2 more books, so he had better be majorly done in both of them, or I'll be unhappy with no matter what happens.
What do you think, Jess?
Yeah. Thoughts, Josh?
I liked him. I thought his character was interesting. I mean, don't really have much to say because I'm not a very good person at explaining things.
I don't have much to say, which means I'm not really a good person in general.
I was gonna ask you, Josh, did you think he was gonna turn out to be a villain? Like, did you ever guess that before he went evil, or like before we saw?
I don't guess anything.
Me neither. I'm always surprised, even.
They're like the most obvious things ever that happen in books, and I still never get them.
Yep.
That's normally how I am. I don't remember what happened, but there was just something where I had this like inclination of like, I think you're probably a bad guy. Like, I don't want you to be, but I think you probably are. And then he was, and I was like, yeah, but he was still fabulous, so it was okay.
I have read this book before, and I still didn't remember, and I was still like, wait, oh, you're a traitor. Now I kind of.
I don't remember. I wish I could remember what it was that tipped me off, because there was definitely a moment. I think it was just when she was telling him about the Panacopia, whatever it's called. I kept just saying it like cornucopia.
Pharmacopoeia or something?
Yeah. Anyways, when she was telling him about it, that I think is when I was like, he'll probably turn out to be a bad guy because she trusted him. Like, yeah. I think it was more the writing, like the way it was written, rather than something he did.
Don't trust the dashing hot teacher. Never trust him.
Nope, don't do it.
Shall we try listening to Google say pharmacopoeia?
Pharmacopoeia.
Pharmacopoeia.
What? How did Google end up Italian?
I want to listen to it again.
Pharmacopoeia.
We have to have an Ask Google moment in every live show.
It's
That's
important.
the best. See, guys, we're developing our own sort of sketches and
I'll never
things that we do.
Paragalli, so
Yes, we have to have Google Translates, not Google Translate, Google read stuff and mention Napoleon in every video, or else it's not an actual. All right, next question, unless Catherine's doing something.
oh no, I was just looking up the word. You can go.
Oh, okay. Janie, Benjamin, and Pip use a potion to turn into birds. Why does the author choose birds, specifically a skylark, a swallow, and a robin? Think of other characters in the story, and you choose a bird that matches their personality. What bird would match your personality? So if we got through half of that, I think that...
I love that it was based on their personality.
Yes, it's the most fabulous thing.
I don't know enough types of birds for this question.
I know.
Or enough about birds.
I should. I don't, though, so...
Maybe I'd be like one of the annoying seagulls on Finding Nemo, because I'm really annoying.
My. I don't know what I would be.
You thought you were an annoying seagull, Josh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would want to be something like a hawk, like a merlin, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that's what I would be, but that's what I want to be.
I don't even know. I'm having like an identity crisis. I don't know what kind of bird I would be.
Just believe, Catherine. How about this one? I have this random bird on my lamp. Oh, well you can't. It's stuck. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go.
I'm not sure I want to be a fake
What'd you
bird
say?
on your lamp.
What?
I said I'm not sure I want to be a fake bird that hangs from your lamp.
Oh, of course you do. I meant you might be this type, but I really have no clue what it is. But it's pretty though.
Pretty sure that these seagulls are my spirit animal.
Yes.
I want to be like a crow because.
Oh, okay. You can be a raven.
But I want to be.
What?
I look away and I look back, and Josh is a bunch of seagulls.
He feels that animal in his soul.
It's perfect.
Awesome. Now, can I just say that when Count Villy smacked Jinlo in the face with his wing, that was the best thing ever.
She just glares at him and he's like, sorry. I also really like the Apothecary being like, I really hope you don't turn into a penguin. And I'm like, you would so be a penguin, though. I'm like, round and cute, and I just really like Count Villy, okay?
We all know that.
We all know that, Catherine.
Oh,
Echo!
no.
Echo!
No.
Also, how old is the Apothecary? Did we get any idea on that?
None.
I was guessing like
None.
early 40s, maybe late 30s, maybe just middle 30s. I always just kind of assume, unless otherwise specified, that people got married in like their early 20s, and so then I just add like the age of their child to that,
Yeah.
and then fudge it a few years. And his son is 14, so he's probably like mid 30s, right?
Yeah. I'd be good with
I
that.
would be good with
Yeah.
Jinlo is in like her early 20s.
Catherine, I think you're gonna have to
Catherine, I
come
think
back
you're gonna
and
have to come back and
okay, go out and back in.
Too bad.
Yeah.
This is terrifying. Ugh.
We've lost her. She's been ejected from the pool.
Eject button.
I didn't do that. She did it willingly. I would like to point that out.
Is it funny, Snack?
Yeah, I don't hear anything anymore. Okay, good. Here's another question, everybody. Though the novel is grounded in history, there are many fantastical elements interwoven in the story. Which was your favorite? Josh!
Josh, what was your favorite?
I liked the birds reflecting their personality. And I like them turning into birds because I want to be a bird. That'd be fun.
Josh just wants to be a bird, and that's really the whole point of this.
The bird, their brains aren't very big, so...
Poor Josh.
Mine isn't either, so...
I wondered about that, about their ability to retain their cognizance while they were birds. 'Cause
Yeah, and Benjamin too was real. I really liked when he was like, "But it's impossible because conservation of matter. We'd have to be an ostrich or something."
my absolute favorite was that he was like, "It's impossible," and then he got turned into a bird, and then his dad was like, and then they were like, "We're gonna turn you invisible," and he goes, "That's impossible," and then they turned him invisible, and then his dad's like, "We're gonna stop time," and he goes, "That's impossible." Like, that's actually things he would realize.
Wow, Ben, maybe you should take a chill pill, but maybe that's impossible.
Everything is impossible until they do it.
Yeah. Oh, what was mine? Oh, the thing I really loved was that massive tree with the quintessence and all that. That was my favorite thing.
Really liked that.
Oh, and the grain of salt, the turning somebody into a salt and then just like sweeping him up into a little jar. And I'm like, what if you forgot a grain of salt? What would happen?
I'm sure some of our mass isn't incredibly relevant. I mean, we like shed skin and like.
I know, but how do you know which grain is which?
I'm assuming it just compensates. Like they don't actually represent specific parts. They just represent your general matter. Does that make sense?
I hope for their sake that you're correct. I don't really know.
That's where my brain went with the science of it.
My brain went to the worst possible place, as usual.
But I really liked the turning into salt. I especially liked when they turned the one Russian guy into salt so they could carry him with them.
Right?
I was like, this is more efficient than trying.
Poor Sergey or Sergei or Sergei. His name isn't Sergei. Whatever it is.
Sergey.
It's like the most cliche Russian name ever, but
I know. He's so cute and funny and awful, though. What are
okay,
you doing?
seriously, I cannot handle Sergey because like he was so sad, and they all just kind of like took advantage of him, like used him when they needed to, and then were like, whatever, we don't need to. And like he kept helping them and calling them his friends, and I'm like, no, they are treating you like jerks, and it's not cool. I was very emotionally invested in Sergey. His father was like, he's a good boy, but not very bright. Somebody needs to take this kid under their wing because this is not cool. He's fabulous, and nobody appreciates him.
Was that a bird pun, Catherine?
No. Stop with the birds.
That's all we're gonna do for the rest of the meeting. Bird puns. I definitely appreciate him, but I'm glad he's happy now in Florida with his sister.
I'm still worried about him. Like, I just don't feel like he's appreciated enough.
Well, you can go adopt him, I guess.
I'm going to.
Josh sees all.
It's really, really creepy.
Like it?
A lot of times I have the feeling that Josh is just here for moral support and then he draws on things.
That's really the only reason why I'm in this book club, let's be honest.
Alright, next question. Consider Benjamin's manipulation of Janie's memories of the event which transpired. What is his motivation for doing so? In your opinion, was it appropriate for him to erase her memories?
Appropriate?
Yeah, that's what it says in the question. I didn't write it.
Josh, your opinion. Go.
I don't know.
Thank you, Josh. That was a rousing statement. Frankly, I don't know what we'd do without you.
Do you think he should have erased her memory?
I don't know. I don't know if it was exactly necessary, because doesn't he just let her have her memories back in the end?
Basically.
I was confused, but I figured it out.
Okay,
She-
good.
He erased her memory so she wouldn't be able to, so she legitimately wouldn't have any information for the cops or for, like, so she couldn't give them away. But once a year had passed, the attention from the investigation had gone away. Like, there was nobody around who, like, nobody would think she had information, so it was okay for her to have the information again.
Yeah, that's what I figured, but it still didn't stop me from wanting to bawl over it. So
I wasn't as upset by her losing her memory because she did get the diary back, but I'm really upset about Pip.
yeah, that's very true.
I don't know. I'm always really frustrated by mind wiping because it's like the whole story kind of loses its purpose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I always felt that way too.
It's especially frustrating if, like, the character goes through character development and then they lose their memory because they lose that. But I don't think too much was lost. Like, I feel like because Janie gets them back and she's the one who went through most of it, I think it's okay. I still think her relationship with Benjamin is going to be kind of weird, which is part of the reason I really want to read the second one.
Definitely. I am really pleased at the fact that Sarah didn't even blink an eye when Pip showed up and he didn't remember anything.
She's just like, okay. We can still be in love, though, right? Yeah? Okay, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so fabulous. And like,
That is Sarah, though. Like, Sarah was so easygoing. Like, after being this total snot, Pip, like, bats those eyelashes of his at her, and she's just like, whatever you say, and it's my favorite.
I know, and she never really was that bad. She was kind of she was a little prissy, but she never, like, got into mean girl category.
She really wasn't. She was more the Richie girl who's just kind of snotty and you hate her because she's richer and prettier than you are. Like,
Yeah.
she was never really mean. And my absolute favorite line of Sarah's is when she's talking about how she was surrounded by, like, nurses and governesses and stuff, and she goes really defensively, it was a perfectly normal childhood.
She wants to be normal, yeah. She just thinks that's a normal thing.
And it's sad because I think she knows she's not normal, and I think she's one of those kids who had more money than love. Like, her parents spoiled her but didn't care for her, and she didn't turn out nearly as bad as she could have. I think, like, she's actually pretty sweet.
What?
I really appreciated that because she could have been such a cliche, and I hate the cliche that rich people are evil. Like, that cliche.
I know, right? I'm like, please don't do this to me.
And she was just handled really well because we saw that, yeah, she has some issues, which I don't think she would have if her parents were more attentive. But she's still a good person, and Pip brings out a really good side of her.
Definitely. I think it's fabulous that they basically just traipsed up to her house and took a bunch of random winter clothes and shipped them off, and nobody had any questions. It was just like, she's not going, right? Nah. Okay.
No, seriously, I have a cousin who is, like, super rich and kind of reminds me of this girl, except she's actually nicer. But I could seriously see something like that happening with her being like, oh yeah, we've got stuff, take it, sure, why not? Like, they're so not attached to stuff because they have all the stuff they need that, sure, whatever.
I also really enjoyed the mental image of Janie and Ben. I'm just going to call him Ben because I'm not going to say Benjamin every time. Just, like, super huddled up in these huge coats. Like, oh, yeah. And everybody else, like, I never got the feeling that they were actually wearing that much warm stuff. It was just Janie and Ben who were, like, completely bundled in these old 20s fur coats.
It was fabulous.
And nobody questioned it or asked them where they got it. It was just, oh, you're wearing horridly out-of-fashion coats.
I don't actually think Ben was. He was going to, but then he borrowed her brother's, like, ski jacket or something. He ended up wearing something more normal.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just don't notice things like that.
It was a really, really brief line, and I actually, like, stopped and thought about it, which is why I remember, because he was going to be wearing the, like, giant, ridiculous bear coat, which was fun.
And I remember the first time I read it being so, like, almost confused by what happened at the end, because it's like, suddenly, Eskimos. It was or whatever. It was like so random. They just randomly came up like, oh, we're being saved by Eskimos. Samoyeds or whatever. Now that I think about it, it was a really fabulous plot element, but it's so random.
It's a little random. Like, it makes sense, because it would make sense for somebody to be in those waters, but I feel like we don't really get any information on that, so it did seem kind of random.
They kept mentioning them, like, over and over. I realized later, like, oh, they keep mentioning the Samoyeds live here, and so we can't bomb this. But then I didn't expect one to suddenly just appear with a boat.
It definitely makes sense, because people lived there, that was the point, like you say, but, yeah, it was kind of fabulous. But I also felt like that disjointed feeling really worked, because I felt like it was confusing to her. Like, like she opens her eyes and there are people there that weren't there before, and, like, she's so fever-addled, but, like, it worked.
I'm not sure how much I liked the fact that she was telling it from her future. It's like, it was fine, but sometimes the narrative would get disrupted because it would be like, and ever since then, I have felt like, or looking back on that, I now know, and I'm like...
Sometimes I actually really liked that, except for when she did it to educate us. Like, sometimes the book got a little educational, and that annoyed me when it was like, let me tell you about these types of whatever from my cut. That's when it annoyed me. I liked the narrative style, but it did pull me out occasionally because it was like, would you really remember these details? Like, would you really be telling us this part if it had been... no, it's 60 years later, isn't it? Because it's 2011.
I hate being schooled, especially by people in the future telling me what to do.
I don't like it when books try to be too educational. Like, I like it when it's subtle, which a lot of the time it was. Like, it was just worked into the story. But every once in a while she would pause to tell us something, and that's when I got annoyed.
We have one viewer!
Yay, hello, viewer!
Hello, viewer.
Josh, you're so scary.
Josh is going to run the viewer away, but, you know.
You look like a serial killer.
Talk, Josh, so we can see
How
your
do you
face.
know I'm not a serial killer?
I'm pretty sure you are.
Oh, my.
You confess to things like that on the internet, though.
Alright, I have more questions. Some of them, okay, this kind of ties in with the other one, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Which of the elixirs is most important to the story? Which one would you most like to try? Oh, well, that's basically the bird thing all over again. I think we'd all probably choose the bird, wouldn't we?
They don't really take any other elixirs, do they?
Well, maybe they just mean, like...
Turning invisible would be cool, although the naked thing kind of bugged me.
Yeah.
Because it's such a, like... It's such a cliche in invisibility, and I feel like it's random and unnecessary. Like, if you can turn your clothes into a bird, why can't you turn them invisible? That is dumb.
I guess, yeah, I mean, in this context, like, a lot of times it is necessary, but in this magic system, I'm not sure if it was, so...
Yeah, and I don't know, I just feel like... I feel like it's often something that you don't have to do, and she did it for the sake of awkwardness, which was fun sometimes, but the one that really got me was when they snuck into the house and were using the bath, and I'm like, why doesn't he just wait out in the hall? Like,
I know, we have to do this quickly. Guess what, Benjamin? It would actually be quicker if you just left.
There was no logic. It was just, let's see how awkward we can make this. However, I did really, really, really love the scene on the bus.
Yes, that was fab.
First it's just the one person, and then it's a bunch of clothes shaped like people, and then it's a bunch of people, and they're just bewildered, and it's fabulous.
I know, and it's like, and Jin Lo's the type you just wouldn't question it. You just no.
And I love that the bus driver like wants to make her pay, but is like, no, that's not happening. I'm just gonna go.
I know, it's so fabulous. I mean, I feel like her glare is like it's scarier than a nuclear bomb, and it's great.
It's so fabulous.
She was really random too. but awesome. It was like, the thing is, I would never think of, well, let's just throw in a Chinese chemist, but it's like it was perfect with everything else. I just wouldn't have thought of it.
I don't know why that's random.
Well, it didn't.
It's the three scientists working together, the Chinese girl, the British guy, and the Hungarian guy. Like,
Maybe random isn't the right word, but I don't know. I'm not saying there was anything bad about it. I loved it. I'm just saying it felt odd in a good way.
I don't. Why is it weird?
It's not weird.
I don't think you're questioning like her race or anything, but like her character is important. Like.
No, I think no. Wait, yes, exactly. It's important. I'm quite okay. Here's the thing. Probably, I think a lot of authors wouldn't have been as creative as that, and they probably wouldn't have chosen to do a Chinese chemist. I feel like they wouldn't have gone there because mostly I just see books with just a lot of white people. They throw them in there, and they don't think outside the box like that. Is what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I guess so. I felt like it really fit with the theme of the book, which is kind of more of a world community rather than like, I mean, they specifically put that, it was a little didactic, and honestly, the anti-human, anti-war thing got on my nerves, which is one of the things that almost knocked it down to a 3-star. But they specifically talk about how they're not fighting for one country or for, that was kind of a theme.
Yeah, which is why it was great. Which is why it worked, and that's why the author needed to do stuff like that. But I'm saying a lesser author maybe wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Maybe I've just read a lot of bad books.
Well, that's the impression I'm getting from this. Because I don't know, I've never felt like that was an issue. I read a lot of books that tend to have multiracial casts. So.
I don't. I really don't. So that's probably the reason where I was like, yes, this is good. I want more of this.
To be honest, though, not to like get completely off topic, but that's one of the things I really like about the Lunar Chronicles is it does that, but without ever being like, look how racially aware we're being, but just like.
Yeah. I get really annoyed with that. I'm like, yikes.
That is such a thing, and I feel like we get hit with that so much as writers, like. You need to be more racially aware. And I'm like, you know what, I feel like you need to write the story that you are writing, and if it takes place across the world, then that is a really good thing, and you should include that. And if it doesn't, then you should focus on writing your story and stop. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I see a lot of people who are, like, writers who are so convinced that they need to have this racial diversion in their stories, it's like they're sacrificing the story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't do that. So.
I did like that. I actually felt like it was a thing in this one too. Like the fact that she was Chinese wasn't a point. It just worked really well with the story. That there's like I said, the woman from China, the man from Hungary, and the man from England working together. That tied in this whole the fact that it's about the whole world. I don't know. The overall thing. I really, really liked the book, but I found it really bleak, and it frustrated me.
Yeah, I think I remember that, too. I was like, this is not a happy story, but... The
funny thing is, the actual story, like, not even the plot, but, like, reading it, it's actually a really fun read, and it's actually pretty light, but then there are just these themes of anti-war, and, I don't know, it felt... I don't know. But it fit the time period, to be honest, because I think Cold War was pretty bleak.
It was. Especially in London. We're in London now, and everything's just, like, cold and rainy.
I really didn't like... I feel like there was kind of an attack on America in part of it that, like... I don't know. I did feel like her parents were a little overly supportive of communists. And I totally, I don't know, in a lot of ways it was really thought-provoking, because, like, I agreed with the whole, we believe in the Constitution, we believe in not imprisoning people because of their beliefs. I really agreed with that. But at the same time, I don't think there was ever a moment where the book looked at it and said, you know what, the Red Scare was a real thing, and there was a reason that they were as against communism as they were. Maybe they went too extreme, but it's hard to judge that realizing that we'd just gotten out of a war and we were legitimately scared. And
that's true.
I felt like it judged I felt like it judged the past a little harshly, and that always really bugs me about historical fiction, when you take our modern, cool, collected thought process and say, bombing Japan was bad. And we're like, can you think people have been studying that war since it happened and have not come up with a better solution for fewer people to die to end the war in all this time? And they had to make a split-second decision of how do we end this war, losing as few people as possible. This will do it. And it did. It ended the war. And I feel like there was a lot of that judgment without realizing what was actually going, like the emotions and the people that were involved. And that kind of got on my nerves to some extent. But I still really liked the book, and I felt like she made it work, and the book itself wasn't overly bleak. It was just there were some messages in it I didn't like.
Well, I would like to give you a slow clap for that response.
I've thought a lot about this subject.
I agree with everything you said. This is absolutely true. Yes, one of the things that bugs me the most in life in general, in books, in my reading life, is that historical fiction is, yes, we infuse our modern sensibilities into it, and it's like, well, this doesn't make any sense because they didn't think that way, and, it's like we're cheapening their experiences because we're somehow enlightened now, and that doesn't make any sense. In the same vein, not as drastic as a thing, but the heroines in, like, historical fiction who are, like, so above their time, and they're like...
feminist?
Yeah. My feminist ideals are so much advanced for this time period. I'm like, okay, no, that's not legit. So.
And there was a tiny bit of, there was a commentary that was like, her parents, whom I love her parents are perfection. I could go on a whole thing about that, but her parents always ask her friends what their mother does, because her mother works, and so they make an effort to ask, what does your mother do? And she says something about how, and that always led to, like, awkward responses. And that just made me really mad, because I'm like, why is saying my mother is a homemaker an awkward response? Like,
well, for the time, it would have been...
It was a weird question. Like, it wasn't a normal question for the time. So I get why that was awkward, but I just, for a second there, I was like, don't make that commentary. Don't go there.
Yeah, because, at the time there was really nothing more idealized than the housewife, so...
Yeah. Why would there be anything awkward about that answer? Like, well, my mom stays home.
Awesome. I'm sure she's a great mom and not dead. Good for you.
Not dead.
That was an awkward response.
Well, that's why I don't ask questions like that.
But no, I have to say, the parents made me so happy.
I'm glad. And I was kind of sad that they lost all that work at the studio when they lost their memory. I was like, oh no, you lost all of your stuff.
I'm sure most of it was written down and they were able to get caught up. But
yeah.
Yeah. And their boss had been there for all the conversations, so she kind of went with it too. Like, what do you do when people show up and have lost 3 weeks of their life? Like, you just have to roll with it.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I was like, well, everybody's just going to have to roll with it. As much as they think it's weird, it'd be awkward for a few weeks, but I guess everybody would eventually sort out.
Eventually it wouldn't even really matter. Like,
yeah.
Eventually you'd stop referring to things that had happened during those 2 weeks and stuff.
And 3 weeks is not a huge amount of time either.
Yeah. It's
an inconvenience,
but not enough to break your whole life. Like, you move on.
3 weeks. I am amused that 3 weeks. I'm not really sure the timeline of this book, because it feels like it was all done very quickly, but it was probably longer than I think it was, especially because of the boat journey is probably the longest.
Yeah. I think you're probably right, because I was like, it does feel like it was shorter than 3 weeks, but actually the boat journey makes it Yeah.
I appreciate that the author didn't tell us every tiny little thing that happened on the boat because I don't want to know. But I did like the whole paint job thing and the catching of the fish of the net, and it really
We got
really
the vibe without spending forever on the boat.
yeah, it really humanized, I think, not humanized, but I don't know what the word is. It made the magic seem more approachable when you can use that super amazing net to catch fish or
Well, and I really like that we have this chemist and this apothecary and this physicist who think in let's stop the nuclear bomb and let's use this to do all these great genius things. And then you have the sailors who are like, we can use this to catch fish.
yeah, exactly.
And I think you need both of those mindsets, and it was a really great melding of those two where we got to see, yeah, this can be practically used.
Yeah. There's just so many cute and amazing little details in the book like that make it really, it just adds depth, and it's just really good.
Yeah. It was just super solid. Like, there was never a moment where I felt like, I guess there were a few, but for the most part, it just was a really solid read. Like, I don't know. There weren't any major flaws that I found or anything. It just held together. I mean, the magic kind of gets me, I have to admit, because it's so, like, it's science.
I love science magic. I love it so much.
And it kept making me think of you, actually. I'm like, I can't make fun of this magic because it's pretty much Quinny's magic.
Quinny's magic. That means that it's not really magic, but we're gonna call it magic.
Well, it's not. That's the point in the book, is that it isn't magic. It's science, except it's not, because we ignore things like you can't turn a person into a bird.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing in general. It's magic that I just call science because I want it to be science.
Yeah. And I found that kind of silly, but it worked. It was internally consistent. They didn't use the magic to fix everything. I don't know. It never felt like, oh, this problem has arisen. Well, don't worry, we have magic. Like it was always something that had been referred to. I don't know. It was solid.
Yeah, and I appreciated how they. I don't remember exactly how they did this. They kind of explained that they were doing the major stuff, and then along the way, somebody just thought, what if we could turn people into birds? And then that happened for some reason.
Well, I think it really works with scientific development, where as you work on different theories, other things happen.
And people aren't going to be entirely serious or entirely, and not the being turned into birds, it could be said as a serious thing. It's just science magic. It doesn't have to have a specific purpose. Sometimes people do things just because they think they can, so.
Well, I think as they're developing one theory, they realize, oh, well, we could use this to do this, and oh, we could turn people into birds. Like, I don't think necessarily they set out to turn people into birds.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It was kind of an accidental thing.
Yeah, which I think is common in scientific discovery. You just start down that road and you see what you find, rather than specifically setting out to find one thing.
That is the nature of science. Science.
What I was up for was the whole theory that we should keep this a secret. Like, that went to the anti-human thing again, where it was like, we can't trust the world with this knowledge. And I'm like, you know what? Knowledge should be open, and you would expand that much faster if people had more access to this. Like, I didn't get the whole concept of keeping it a secret.
People like secrets, apparently.
I don't like secrets. I find secrets annoying, because I'm like, I feel like the world would be better if we kept less secrets, that's all. I mean, I get, like, military and defensive secrets, that makes sense, but, like, science should never be a secret.
You sound like Nick. Science should never be a secret.
Nick and I get along.
Science.
Science. Do you have any other questions, Quinny?
What?
Do you have any other questions?
I think we're doing better than the questions want us to do. It's yeah, here's one. The Apothecary is told in first person. How would the story be different if someone besides JD were telling it? Do you think changing the point of view would make the story better or worse? Why?
Josh?
Can you please repeat the question?
He wasn't even listening.
All right, this one for 500. I think you can answer it. The Apothecary.
I just didn't understand it very well. Like, I missed a few
Okay.
words here and there.
Okay, that's understandable. It was a long question. Okay. The Apothecary is told in first person. How would the story be different if someone besides Janie were telling it? Do you think changing the point of view would make the story better or worse?
I don't know.
Like if
I'm really
Ben.
bad at answering questions.
All
Because
right.
I don't think about things like this.
It inspires you to think critically, like you're actually in school. This is actually school.
Let's not talk about school.
Okay, well, it would be funny if Pip told it, because then it would just be a long, never-ending narrative of these people's
That's
pockets.
obvious.
These people's pockets he was picking, and oh, well, this girl's pretty over here, and how can I pick this lock? And it'd be just,
Love Pip so much. He would be such a great narrator.
I know, I need this in my life.
So, I stopped reading for a minute. Like, I didn't stop reading. I read the whole book yesterday, so I didn't stop reading much. But, like, I paused and I was doing something else, and then I was thinking about the book. And then I opened up, and it started with, like, Sarah's butler. And I instantly thought we had shifted for a minute to read about, like, what Sarah was doing. And then we weren't. It was back with, like, on the ship. And I realized I'd completely forgotten the book was in first person. Like, to the point where I actually thought it had accidentally switched at one point. Like, I was convinced I'd been reading a third-person book.
I kept forgetting I was reading a first-person book, like, many times, so...
I think it would have been third-person, and, like, nothing would be different, except this, like, I liked the idea of the older version of herself telling the story, but at the same time, I'm not sure it was the most effective. Like, I kind of feel like it might have been better in third-person.
Yeah, like I say I really think it would have been better, because I don't think that her little observations added enough to be anything. Because she was not, the thing is, she was not incredibly, like, imaginative. She didn't really put her thoughts out there. Nothing that a third-person narrator couldn't do.
Yeah. There wasn't internal monologuing. There wasn't anything that necessitated first person.
It almost felt like the author was used to writing in third person, but she just really wanted this particular character to say stuff from her past, so she wrote the whole book in third person, and then she just edited it to say, I did this.
It really, like I say, I was confused, because I was like, wasn't this third person like a minute ago? No, it really wasn't. Okay, so I'm not just because I'm thinking about it. I loved her walking like Katharine Hepburn.
That was so cute.
So much I loved that. I felt like it was a really, really good insight into her character. I actually misread because I am a terrible reader. And I just like read Hepburn and filled in Audrey Hepburn because that's and like I kept going and I was like, oh, she said Katharine Hepburn. And then I was like, that's weird. Who would choose Katharine Hepburn as an actress? And then we started learning about her and I was like, oh, she would choose Katharine Hepburn. This totally makes sense. And it I felt like I'd really learned something about her by knowing Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, you're right. It didn't feel like the author just chose a random actress because she was popular. She just an actual.
It actually fit her that she would be. I mean, like she talks about how like there's a moment where she's trying to like channel Katharine Hepburn when she's being bratty, and I was like. Moments when Katharine Hepburn is being a brat that would suit it. Like, it worked.
You're like throwing your hair around in your excitement for this.
I was very, it was good writing right there, choosing Katharine Hepburn and moving with that. Like, it went really well. And I could just see her in her green pants and, like, she just really had this very 50s vibe, but with a very distinctive character. I also never felt like, even though it took place in the past, it never felt disjointed. Like, I felt like I fit really well into that time period, and I wasn't confused, and, like,
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't heavy-handed with the setting, I thought.
Yeah, that's
Really
very
did
true.
it cost to educate us.
There are definitely some heavy-handed historical literature out there.
And this had its moments, but overall it really wasn't.
Yeah, I really liked the cover, too, with the kids running across the roof. That was cute.
The what?
I liked the kids running across the roof on the cover.
I don't have that cover.
Show it. Yeah, huh. That's weird. I must have a later. I have a paperback edition, so I guess they added the kids later. It basically looks exactly like that, except there's kids running across the rooftop.
Josh, you should find a picture and show it, because you're better at that.
I'm already on it, girl.
This is why we have Josh.
Yes, make yourself useful, boy. It's so awesome.
Okay. Yeah, the covers are both very similar, but, like, it's a completely different building and there are kids on it. 1 second.
Is it the school? That would make the most sense, since that's when they were.
I think so.
I mean, not the school, but the juvenile.
Penitentiary.
Okay. Blah, 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 talking. 1 second, wait for it to go away. There we go.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Talk, Josh. Now you see the kids. They're cute.
Kids, yay!
I wish Mr. Danby was like randomly chasing them on the cover though, and you just see 3 kids and then this grown man is just like, "Come back, children! I need to arrest you and take you to Russia."
I like your Mr. Danby voice. Come back, children!
You know he talks like that.
This is definitely how I imagined it.
Really heavy-handed on the Latin. Jenny, how could you not understand this very simple Latin phrase? Let's see. Approximately 8 minutes left. I don't know if I have any decent questions still.
Yeah, so it looks like the hardback has the, like,
Bottle.
Katie's cover, and then the paperback has the children on the roof.
Well, mine
Which
is...
I think is weird.
It's weird, like, it's exactly the same cover, except the bottom.
Yeah.
I think I like the one Quinny has better. It makes more sense.
Of course.
And the font is a different color.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, friends. This is probably a good ending question. Do you think there will be a sequel, and if so, where should the setting be? Obviously, there's going to be a sequel.
There are sequels. Okay.
I know there are sequels, but you can tell. But we can discuss what we think is going to be going on in them.
Well,
Isn't the second one called The Apprentices?
yeah,
Yes.
it has palm trees on the cover.
Oh, they must be in Florida with
Sergey.
Sergey. All right. Run that.
I can show the cover. 1 second.
Yep, run that through Google, Josh.
Oh, yeah, she was Sergey. Even though I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right, since I've heard that name before.
We can see what Google says later.
It's gotta be in Florida with him. You're gonna get your wish.
I'll be so happy. Or they'll just continue being mean to him and I'll be sad.
Okay, this is the cover of the second one.
More children. Sorry.
Yay, children, and an owl, and a bottle, and island, and
Fire.
Interesting. I like the forest on fire.
Yes. Huh. Well, obviously something's going to be in flames, and maybe that's just a represent. Maybe it's orange juice. Maybe that's just a representation of Florida in general.
Good theory.
You nailed it, Quinny. Good job.
You should cover his eyes. Of course, of orange juice is just coming up.
I'm gonna design your book cover, Catherine.
Please. I'm not entirely convinced that was Florida.
Maybe not. Maybe it was. What other places have we mentioned? I don't think Russia has palm trees. I don't think that's.
There are palm trees in Hollywood, aren't there? Didn't you used to live in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Did you? I didn't know that.
You didn't know she lived in Hollywood?
Oh, I thought Josh was saying, "Did you live in Hollywood, Catherine?" And I'm like, didn't never heard of that one.
Jamie lived in Hollywood. I did not.
Okay, yeah, she did.
Like the most glamorous life in Hollywood.
She's an actress. We all knew it.
Did not know I was a famous actress and rubbed shoulders with a bunch of Hollywood stars. Yeah, that happened.
All right, Josh, are you getting the thing?
Am I getting what?
She wants Sergey pronounced by Google because she does not believe in my pronunciation.
I believe you, but I'm gonna see if Google believes you or if he's just gonna butcher it.
I think this is the right spelling. Is it Sergei?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sergey.
Sergey.
Sergey. All right, that works. I mean, I always believed it, but no. I gotta double check.
That is like, I watch a lot of shows that are like CIA and things like that, and so they're often fighting against Russians, and like 80% of the time the Russian is named Sergey.
So, Napoleon was against the Russians too, you know?
Napoleon, check.
All right, Josh, you want to tell us what book we're reading next month?
Sure. I need to pull up the picture. Okay, one second.
I'm so glad you're the tech guy in this. Like, we are, Catherine and I are way too lazy to do this.
Okay, so our book for next month is House of Secrets by Chris Columbus and Ned Vizzini.
It's pretty.
Yay!
It is recommended by J.K. Rowling, so obviously they did something.
Yeah, but Chris Columbus directed the first two Harry Potter movies,
I
so
know.
she probably did that because of that.
I'm a little bit concerned.
It really isn't, like, the best book ever, and I read it a while ago, like, a couple years ago, and I just want to reread it and see how it is. I'm sure the writing is really bad, but it's fun, and it's middle grade, and yeah.
Pitch it, Josh!
I'm excited. I like cheesy middle grade, so this is right up my alley.
I don't know how bad the writing's gonna be, but, you know, whatever.
Do we trust Chris Columbus or not? That's the question. All right, we're going to go over to Josh's channel for next month's meeting, and I'll have his...
Oh, wait, what? Are we still meeting at 4 o'clock? Or
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Is Andrea joining next month, Katie, or the month after?
She hasn't started school yet, and she kind of wants to start school and see how things go before she makes an official, like, she wants to get settled. So
Yeah.
she may join us in November because I know she wants to read Winter. But we will see. I'm not sure. She's going to be living with me soon, like in October, so I'll talk to her. Maybe convince her to do it next month.
Okay. All
So
right.
yeah, we will soon have a number, but we don't know when. Eventually, it will happen.
All right. Well, I guess that pretty much adjourns another meeting of the Novel Alliance Book Club.
Yay!
See everybody later.
Good night and Paranelli!
Paranelli forever. Bye.